Hey folks, Cool18 here, and welcome to another video on VoidExpanse. When I last covered the game was still in pre-release format, and there have been quite a few updates and changes since then, including the full release itself. And so the people over at VoidExpanse asked if I could make another video showing off the feature of the game now that it is officially released and done. And here this is. Now, this is not a review, it should be very important to note, but just, kind of a listing, a breakdown of some of the different features that are in there. We're going to jump in the game in just a second, but it's worth talking about the fact that when I covered the game last time, the mods menu was not yet present in here, and there are in fact quite a few mods using the Steam Workshop. I don't have any installed, it's just a vanilla edition here, but lots of mods on there, adding new ship types, new factions, new types of weapons, some gameplay options, new avatar pictures like images for your pilot, all kinds of stuff like that. Seems to have really good modding support. Also, I will once again mention that this game does offer multiplayer, including the ability to run servers with massive amounts of players. You can see here, I don't know if that's legit or someone hacked it, but there's some sort of crazy mega number here. But I see lots of servers of 64, over 100 people. We've got a 256 here. Even in the pre-release, I was seeing a server with 128 players max. You can run the server as a standalone application. It works on Windows, Mac, and Linux, which means you can have sort of a dedicated standalone server somewhere, so you can have kind of a persistent universe for you and your friends, for example. We're going to jump right into single player, though, for this particular demo. We're going to create a world to start off with. Now, you can create a world that's got a huge variety of size. Let's go ahead and, for the sake of argument, let's go and create one of the biggest galaxy sizes in here, because I'm sure people want to do that. Also, the seed here, you can grab this, copy and paste it, and give it to a friend, and they could play in a universe that looks exactly the same as yours, for example, if you've got, some preference that you'd like to go. But it does mean that everyone's game is going to be a little bit different, because the universe itself is going to be different. We've got a difficulty here. Now, as far as I can tell, this difficulty setting doesn't actually change any of the combat balance, hit points, anything like that. The thing that changes is what happens when you die. Most notably, if you go all the way down to hardcore, when you die, that is it. Your pilot is dead, you lose everything. I think the world may still be around, but you'd have to make a brand new pilot in that world, for example. And then on normal and semi-hardcore, when you die, you lose a certain amount of stuff. On both of them, you lose your inventory, cargo, and 10% of your money, but on semi-hardcore, you also lose your current ship, which means you'll be reset back to the starting little cargo hauler, which is a pretty pathetic little ship. I'm going to stick on normal because I'm quite poor at this. We're going to go ahead and call this, well, you know what, New World 2 sounds pretty good to me. I'll hit start. It'll take a moment to generate. It actually happens relatively quickly here. I guess the fact that space is mostly empty helps a lot. Here's our character creation. Now, one thing that's really important to note is that no matter what class you pick, you will effectively be playing the same game. In fact, you've got the same talent trees, same abilities, and everything like that. The difference between the different classes is it starts you off with a different set of skills. I can't remember which one I showed off last time. Did I show off the Prospector one? Or maybe I showed off Adventurer. Let's load up Prospector so I can show you guys the mining right away, because it's a pretty interesting aspect of the game. You can basically start to mine with just about anyone, but the Prospector can do it a little bit better. And other than that, you can change your look and your gender. I don't think any of this has any effect in the game whatsoever. We're going to go ahead with her over here as a prospector, and we'll hit create. Yes, we want to play this character, and we're going to go ahead and load up into the game. So it is technically a 3D game, although you're playing it on a 2D play field, which is probably better. I mean, everyone knows that space isn't flat, but it is a little harder to navigate in some of these others. So we're going to disable those tutorials and take a look at the scene over here. So, since the last video, this version of the game has been updated to Unity 5. They do use the Unity 3D game engine, and Unity 5 offers physically based shading, so the lighting model is a lot better than it was in the previous version, and I think it looks pretty damn sexy. So you can see here I can move my mouse around and I change my targeting reticule over here. You can see my target on my cursor, and you see a white line there. The white line represents where my guns are facing. And first of all, you can see that there's a bit of lag. They have a maximum turning rate. Some guns are much faster and some guns are much slower than others. So that's something that you have to deal with in combat. If I go ahead and click, I will fire my laser and it'll track around. But there's also a maximum firing arc. You can see I can't shoot behind me. And that's another thing that can change. You can equip yourself with a variety of different guns that have different firing arcs. Some basically only go straight forward, whereas some of them can basically wrap all the way around your ship. Other than that, you do control yourself with WASD. W goes forward, A goes to the right, D goes to the left, and S slows you down and in fact can even cause you to go backwards if you want. The spacebar is the brakes. So that way you don't have to sort of fiddle and try to figure out exactly how to stop. You just hit space and that's fine. You can also double tap to do a little quick jump forward. That does have a reload time, so you can't use it continuously, but there you've got it. The bottom left corner of the screen, you can see here, you've got your general stats for your ship, your current energy, your shields, and then your hull. And you can see there, when I bumped into this little bit of space debris right over here, I'm going to do it again. Boom, you can see I took some shield damage there. And to recharge the shields, I have to spend energy. So while the shields were recharging, my energy dropped a little bit, and then it regenerates as well. When I hit the gas, my engine goes up, and I believe this itself uses some energy as well, energy and fuel. But right now, my power generator can still keep up with that. Let's go ahead and dock, and we can look at a few different characteristics of our ship. There's some buttons up here, but we can access most of them in the dock. So I'm going to go ahead and park myself sort of in front of this area, hit F to dock. You can also fly right in if you're a little bit better at piloting things than I am, but I'm not. So here's what the station's screen look like. There are multiple different tabs here. You can see we can repair and refuel. One of the changes that has been made is the repair cost has been normalized a bit more. It used to scale with the price of your ship, but that meant that repairing even little scratches on a very expensive ship, I think, results in things being pretty expensive. So now it should be a little bit more balanced. Lots of balance changes have gone into the game. The economy, the combat, all kinds of different things. We've got the decks screen over here, which gives us the ability to talk to different people. For example, we can talk to One-Eyed Joe here and get a quest. I'm not going to go through this description because we've covered it before, and this is not really a Let's Play video. We're just covering some different aspects. So we can see here we can do a conversation with One-Eyed Joe over here. He'll say that maybe we want to join a faction. He'll give us some help. Hey, we'd like a better ship. And he says, okay, well, I can give you a mission, and then we can... I can give you a better ship. I have to go and find someone and give them a little talking to see if I can recover something for One-Eyed Joe. So here we've got the shop and also the hangar. So the hangar here will show off my current ship. My current hull right now that you start off with is a civilian shuttle. This hull is always free. So even if you decide to, change things up later on, you can always come back to this if you want. The civilian shuttle actually has a half-decent amount of storage space compared to some of the early ships that you can get. It's got a storage capacity of 200. In fact, the first upgrade we're going to get from One-Eyed Joe over there is going to be a Banshee, which I think only has a capacity of 100. So if you want to play the trading and mining game, you actually are not too bad with the cargo shuttle. However, it only has one weapon slot, whereas I think the Banshee has two, not to mention a fair bit more hit points. So when you unlock more hulls, and if we look in the shop over here, we can actually sort by hulls. We can see different ones over here. So for example, here's an Endeavor, which would cost 1,200 space bucks. It's got more hit points than my current ship. You can see in green there, it's got the plus 200, so it's got more hit points, more structure. Also, quite a bit more cargo capacity. Endeavors are cargo ships, but they're worse at maneuvering. They do have 2 weapon slots available, so they can fight a little bit better. They can put out more damage, but they do maneuver a lot worse, so they're not really meant to be combat ships. There's no Banshee in the list here. These are randomized from time to time as you visit the shops. They will change up a wee bit. Other than that, all these slots are all going to be the same. When I swap out hulls, my engine, RCS, and all these sorts of things will stay whatever they are. So if I upgrade a generator on this ship, this upgraded generator stays with me even when I switch hulls later. I guess I just move them from ship to ship, for example. So your generators generate power or energy. So you can see here this one generates 20 energy, I believe, per second, and has a full energy capacity of 350. So when we see when this energy meter is full at 100%, that means I have 350 energy units stored up. You can see it also uses fuel. When you generate energy, it uses fuel for that. I think when I'm sitting at 100%, and if I'm not really doing anything, if I'm not firing my weapons, I'm not taking hits, so I don't have to recharge my shields, I don't think the generator uses any fuel, but otherwise it does. You do have a fuel tank down here with your maximum capacity. You can see this one here has a capacity of 300. Upgrading that can help you do a lot more in combat, and not to mention just travel further, because when you putz around with your engine, you do burn fuel. We can see that here on your engine here, the civilian engine. Requires energy. I guess that's what it is. The engines don't require energy, engines don't require fuel. They require energy, and when your generator produces energy, it burns your fuel at that point. So if you're just coasting without really using your engines, and you're not taking damage to your shields, and you're not firing your lasers, you probably have basically unlimited fuel. But as soon as you start doing anything, it starts to wear down, and you're going to want to keep an eye on that and make decisions. RCS, that's your, I believe it stands for reaction control thrusters or systems. It affects your acceleration and maneuverability. So you can upgrade this so that you can be quite a bit more maneuverable, which makes a big difference in combat. For example, being able to turn around or even dodge to the side, and even accelerating lets you catch up to people pretty quickly. Shields obviously are your protections. The nice thing about shields as opposed to your actual structure is shields do regenerate. You take hits in combat, and after a certain moment, you can see here the shield regeneration delay, which on these shields is 3 seconds. After 3 seconds of not being hit, your shield will start to use your energy to recharge the shields back to 100%. Radar here, well, lets you spot things. It's got a certain amount of range, for example. And then the grappler here allows you to grab things in space. And we're going to look at that really soon. You can see here, we started with a little bit of stuff in inventory. We actually started with a standard fuel tank, so I'm going to go ahead and upgrade to that. And if we compare, you can see the civilian one had 300 capacity. The standard one has 500, which is nice. Also started with a couple of mining devices. I think this is because I started as a prospector. So I'm going to go ahead and equip one of those. So these device slots over here are things you can activate in combat, as are consumables. An example of consumables, if we go here, we've got structure repair consumable. So we've got some nanites or something like that we can activate this consumable, and it will heal 500 points of structure damage over 10 seconds. But it costs you money to do that. So depending on your ship, some ships later on will have more slots for consumables and devices, and can even have slots for boosters later on, but this one does not. Next thing to talk about is the skill tree. There's actually 4 different skill trees: piloting, combat, engineering, and social. Because I am a prospector, in the engineering tree, I have a bunch of things related to asteroid mining already unlocked. It's worth noting that usually these are limited to higher level. You have to be a higher level character before you can start to unlock these. For example, this astrogeology, you normally have to be level 10, but because I'm a prospector, I started with it right away, even though I'm level 1, which is kind of neat. Depending on your class, you will just start with a different number of skills. The adventure class starts with no skills whatsoever, but has 20 points to spend on skills. You can sort of customize your own thing. Generally speaking, as an adventurer, you wouldn't be able to buy these skills here as an adventurer for 2 reasons. 1, some of them are level locked, so you wouldn't actually be able to unlock them at level 1. And 2, the cost of unlocking everything here would be more than the adventurer can afford. But the advantage is the adventurer is a bit more flexible. But that's only at the start. From this point on, everyone is exactly the same. You earn experience points, you level up, you get points for skills, and you can put them anywhere you want. So I can decide to just focus entirely on combat, for example. So quite a few different skills involved here. Piloting tends to make you go faster, be able to accelerate faster, go have a faster top speed, be more maneuverable, things like that. Although this tree over here also includes a lot more bonus cargo and fuel capacity if you want to be a long distance hauler. And then this tree over here unlocks the bigger ship types, for example. Combat does 2 things: make you better in combat, but also tends to unlock higher tier weapons. For example, we start with light direct weapons, let's say laser weapons and ballistic weapons, but over here we can unlock medium energy weapons, and over here we can unlock medium ballistic weapons. Ballistic weapons are like artillery, shotguns, machine guns, that sort of thing. Over here we've got explosive weapons. This would unlock both missile and mines. Here we can continue to upgrade mines even better, and here we can upgrade missiles even better. Engineering, we've got auto repair. Also, just the basic engineering skill is required to be able to equip certain types of items. You need to have the engineering skill to run them. And social allows you to get better discounts on when you're buying and selling goods, for example, as well as getting a better rewards from quests. I think that's one of those. Right over here. Gentleman gets better quest rewards. So we've got that. We've got a journal. We've got our system map, and this is I should have talked about a little bit more. Before we look at the system map, let's look at the galaxy map actually. So I went and generated the biggest possible galaxy we would. These are all the different star systems available. I'm currently parked down here in this star system. The areas that are colored in, those are areas controlled by factions. This area here is controlled by Order. This here is controlled by Freedom. This one is controlled by the Fanatics. Over here we've got the Pirates, and over here we've got the Zengaterm aliens. The factions are always the same as far as I can tell, although again you can probably mod in new ones, but what changes are the star systems and the stars. And if we look at the current star system that we're in, you can see that this system has multiple bases. Actually does it? No, this one only has 1 base, but it does have 2 gates to other systems. It also, this is my quest over here that I've got to go and spot. It's also filled with asteroids that we can mine. Let's go ahead and undock and look at what is involved in both mining and a little bit of combat. So if I go, you can see on my mini map over here, the green bits are friendly units, in this case the starbase and the defensive turrets around it, for example. The yellow bit here is an arrow pointing towards my quest objective, and if I got closer to an asteroid, I can even set a waypoint over here. So let's set a nav point in this direction. You can see I've set this little A marker, so I'm going to fly towards it over here because I just want to be able to get towards an asteroid. And there should be one over there. In fact, I'd be able to see on the mini-map if it wasn't covered by the big A. Let's go ahead and cancel this, open up the mini-map, delete that nav point. There we go. So it's a bit of an orange dot on the minimap. So if I approach it, because I'm a prospector with the right skill, it'll actually tell me what the asteroid is made out of. And if I activate my mining drill, which is on the 4 key, while I'm mousing over the asteroid, I will go ahead and mine it. This requires a certain amount of energy, takes a certain amount of time to process, and you can see it's giving me some ore. One of the nice things is mining does give you experience points, and in fact, starting as a prospector, you get a lot of bonus experience points from mining, so you can level up quite quickly simply by doing that. Just gonna let my energy recharge a little bit. We'll do another round of mining over here.
Energy level critical.
And you can actually see my fuel here has dropped to about 50%. Regenerating all this. I think I remembered to refuel in the base itself. I think we're actually just burning through quite a bit of fuel doing this. And we're probably going to fill up our inventory relatively soon. There we go. There's actually 2 sources of inventory. There's your items over here, of which I can currently carry 20, and then there's your cargo capacity over here, which is where things like ore goes. Also, when you're at a base, you can trade for certain resources, and those would also go in your cargo hold. So let's go ahead and finish this mission by finding this guy I'm supposed to talk to. Now, this is a bit slow. What you can do is you can hit C and engage a cruise mode. Yeah, we're at 50% fuel. Cruise mode is much faster, but you can't maneuver as effectively. So it's really good for covering long distances. Also, there is an autopilot mode. You can autopilot your way to any waypoint, including, if you want, from the galactic map over here. I can go and click on a system way over here. Oh, inaccessible star system. Oh, it's because I have to finish the tutorial. Once you finish the tutorial, you can go somewhere else. You can click on a star system and autopilot there. And what will happen is that the autopilot system will automatically go to the correct Stargate to jump you from system to system to system, for example. It'll pathfind its own way. Let's talk to Scurvy over here. We got a mission to talk to him. I'm actually going to go ahead and park behind him just so I get a slight advantage because of something I know is going to happen here. So we're going to speak to him. Hey, we got a package that you owe One-Eyed Joe. So we can go and actually take... we can go through conversation here, and if we take the right sort of answers, we can actually get him to willingly give up the package. We can also buy it from him if we want. In this case, I'm going to take a more aggressive route. Oh, he actually turned to face me. I'm going to go and be aggressive and actually start combat over here, and hopefully I can win. I have a very tiny ship, but I think because this is a tutorial, this is going to be relatively easy. I'm crossing my fingers anyway. So I'm going to try to back away from him a little bit. Our shields are holding for now, and his have burned away. Yeah, he's almost out of structure, so he might try to book it or just try to get behind me. But there we go. He was a pretty easy fight. Let's look at to show off the grappling hook. So whenever you kill something, there will sometimes drop some goods behind. Now, in this case, I knew there was going to be some because there's an actual quest one for it. I'm going to activate my grapple, which will suck the goods into me. Sometimes things are a little far away, and they'll actually have to be tractored in. But in this case, it went pretty quickly. So we went and completed that quest. Our little arrow marker has updated to show us the starbase. I'll actually show off the autopilot. Let me go and hit the brakes. I'm going to bring up the map. So I need to get back to the Energy 5 starbase. So I'm going to set a nav point over there. Hit the autopilot button, engaged. Which can also be engaged. I think it's the A key. Let's hit.
Autopilot
yeah.
Disengaged.
So I'm going to hit the A key again. Nope, it's not. Oh, it's X. Autopilot there it is. Engaged. Set it right there for me. It'll re-engage it. It automatically tries to use cruise mode, and it will dodge around obstacles for you, which is pretty nice. Some of the distances are a bit big. We've got a pirate here.
Autopilot disengaged.
We can take this guy, right? Nope, we can't. We can't. We're going to engage cruise mode and get the hell out, because we've barely scratched its paint job, whereas we've lost our shields completely. It was a much, much stronger fight. Again, this is not a combat ship. I'm going to disengage.
Autopilot
and do this
engaged.
Just because I overshot a little bit, but I was just trying to get away from the pirate as much as possible. There we go.
Autopilot disengaged.
So we're just gonna dock here.
Docking.
Without running into the starbase. That's pretty good. I'm gonna make sure to refuel right away. Actually, we are gonna get a new ship, but no, refueling makes sense. Repair the scratches. Talk to One-Eyed Joe. Tell him we got the package. So we got a new ship that has 2 weapon mounts.
Level reached.
And he will give me a quest to pick up some ore for him, in which case he'll give me some consumables. I might have enough ore to finish this right away. Looks like I did. Excellent. And then he'll talk to me about, I still have a quest to join some factions. I can talk to some new people. Let's go ahead and take a look. In our hangar here, we've got 2 tabs, actually. What's on our ship, but also in storage at the starbase, which includes my new hull for my new Banshee over here. So we're going to equip that. You can see it's got a lot more structure and armor, but far less cargo capacity. It's also much poorer at defending against targeting. But it maneuvers well, and it recharges the warp speed pretty well. So we're going to go ahead and equip that. So now we've got our Banshee. You can see here it's got 2 weapon mounts. So our old civilian laser went into storage. We'll put that there. And that's the only weapon we have. Now, this mount here can only equip energy weapons. But this mount here is actually allows you to put both energy or ballistics in here. This is actually a new feature that I don't think was in my preview version. So you get to pick and choose what goes in that second slot. Well, I'll have to buy a weapon for that, though. So I can sell this old civilian shuttle. I don't need any more. And in any case, I can always get another one for free whenever I want. I can same thing with the civilian fuel tank. No reason to keep this bad boy around. Also, the mining laser. I have an extra one. They're both standard mining devices. Unless there's a reason, which I don't know about, to have 2. I'm going to go ahead and sell this one, too, just to raise some extra funds. There we go. So I've got a few bucks now. I could just get a second civilian laser, but let's get a proper light laser over here and equip that onto my ship. There we go. Now, right now, they're both bound to my left mouse button, but I can actually switch it. So this one's now on the middle mouse button or on the right mouse button. I'll put them both on the left. I think that's perfectly fine. But for different weapon types, especially ones that use ammo, so energy weapons don't use ammo. They require energy. But ballistics and missiles and things like that do have ammo. You don't have to equip them, but you can run out. And you automatically refill your ammo supply when you dock again. So it's something to keep in mind. The projectile weapons tend to be relatively decent. And in fact, they've been buffed in the last couple of updates. But they're not really meant for like a long bout of pirate hunting. So anyway, we've got that done pretty well. Let's go ahead and, speaking of pirate hunting, let's see if that guy who shot at us last time is still around. And we're going to see about hunting him down using our new ship with dual lasers. So it looks like there's still a red bit in this general direction, so let's go and hunt that guy down. We could also turn pirate ourselves and go hunting other merchants if we wanted. And they might be able to drop some lucrative goodies. So we're closing in here. We're going to blow it up and see what kind of stuff it might drop. And then we'll show some of the galactic travel. So there we go. Just burning away its shields completely. And oh, it did drop a container. See, this one will look a little bit different from the last one. There we are. And I can grapple it in. I can fly into it as well here at this point to shorten it. And we're going to take everything. It's got some consumables. We actually forgot to equip our consumables. So the structure repair we'll put there as a bit of an emergency button if something goes wrong. And now let's go ahead and leave this sector. So we're still here. If I decide to go to Cospol Omega, and so I can click on that, it'll tell me what the route will be. And I can go ahead and set the autopilot for that if I want. It's worth noting you can set autopilots when you're inside of a starbase as well, but it won't auto-engage. You'd have to obviously leave the starbase and then engage your autopilot. But right now we can sort of step away and just let the autopilot do its job. The problem is many of these systems have pirates. So I'm going to disengage the autopilot. This guy's actually shooting me with 3 guns. And my shields are down, taking some very expensive hull damage. Where's the cargo pod in here? There it is. But we killed another pirate. We are getting experience points for this. We are now level 3. If we go, oop, not online users. We don't have online users. We want to go to the skills right over here. There's hotkeys for everything. I just don't remember. We got 20 points to spend, so we may as well do a little bit of that. I'm being attacked by another pirate. It's worth noting that, especially because it's kind of a multiplayer-focused game, it often does not pause in those screens. Shields are down. Let's try to minimize how much damage we're going to take here. Oh, do I have the automatic steering turned on? I don't think I realized that. There are 2 steering modes you can put on here, manual or auto. On auto, which is what I've got now, the ship will attempt to steer towards 75%. Your mouse pointer, which actually makes some of this combat a little bit easier.
50%.
Okay, well, let's go ahead and use one of our consumables to repair some of our structure. And let's go ahead and spend some experience points. Maybe in the combat tree, we'll try to get a little bit more tracking speed on our energy weapons, so it'll steer a little bit better. And why not a little bit of extra range as well? And we'll close that off. Excellent. That sounds pretty good. There was something else I wanted to show, and I can't recall what it was. Those are all the factions and where we're aligned. Galaxy, Journal, Skills. I'm sure there was one more thing, and I can't remember what it is. Let's blow up another pirate. Maybe it'll come to me. Boom. Oh, one very important thing. Is there somewhere I can dock in the system? No. So let's go ahead and just resume our autopilot, try to get to the next system. You can do a lot of trading in the shop. There are a lot of resources you can trade for. Every resource has sort of a base price, a normal price, but some systems will pay more or less. Now I remember what I was going to say. Each system, when you mouse over it, has like that cross swords icon and the gear icon. The higher the cross swords, the more the threat. So pirates are more likely to be in this system because it's got a higher rating. Also, don't fly too close to the sun. You will burn. And then the gear shows you the tech level of the system, which has a massive impact on the sort of goods they will sell. So you want to go... if you want to get the best weapons, the best types of ships, you're going to have to do it in a system with relatively high tech. If we check our original system over here, you can see it only has a tech level of 1, which is why I didn't have a lot of things available. But if we stop over here in Yanakor, and actually, I'm actually going to stop in this system over here. We're going to dock and then try to compare what kind of stuff might be purchasable. There we go. We'll set a nav point for Nox 5. We'll set our autopilot. Oh, we disengaged it.
Destination reached.
No, it isn't. I'm going here.
Autopilot engaged.
Good. Although we could do some more rock mining first. We don't have as much capacity in here. We only have enough for 100 pieces of cargo.
Disengaged.
Is there some more cargo over there? Yeah. Okay. Keep going. Next rock we go by, we'll go ahead and mine it out. We do have a few things we can sell because we keep blowing up these pirates. Mostly, I think they've just dropped consumables for us at this point. Nice. I like the extra range on these lasers. Quite nice.
New level reached.
There we go. This one even dropped a new gun for us. If we take a look at that, oh, we can't change our equipment. Oh, that's a lot of miners. So if you want to play pirates, we could go and blow them up, for example. I'm just going to leave now. I'm a little worried about running out of goods.
Autopilot disengaged.
Or I say that.
Shields down.
Shields are down.
At 75%.
Start repairing the structure since it does take a little while. There we go. Pirate scum. Let's just grapple as much as we can. There we go. Pirate headhunter. These tend to be a little bit more bad news. Although in this case, I think we're okay. He didn't drop anything though.
Cargo hold is full.
Yeah, it is. Okay, come on.
Autopilot
Get me to the base. I gotta sell all this good stuff. We're not gonna do any mining. We've picked up enough resources. You can see here. Picked up some ore and some food from blowing up these pirates. So it's not just these items, it's some of these as well. We've got 2 different types of ballistic weapons. We only have 1 slot that can take it though. And we've arrived.
Reached. Docking.
Let's go and see what we can sell. I'll show you those goods as well. If we take a look at the shop, you can see there's a lot more stuff available here. If we filter it to just hulls, you can see not only do they have the Endeavor that we saw before, but we've got an Avalanche here, which has still low on capacity, just like ours, but some more consumable slots, slightly more hit points and speed. The Boomerang, which we just fought a few of them, those are the ones with the 3 laser beams. Apparently also have a stationary ballistic mount as well, so it doesn't turn. You have to make sure to face dead on when shooting that stationary mount, which gives it a really good reason to have that one on a separate mouse slot, for example. It's got quite a few more hit points and a lot more armor as well. This is a full-out freighter over here. You can see it's got a cargo capacity of 800. Just remember, my current ship has a capacity of 100. That's a lot more space. Obviously, it maneuvers terribly. It does have a really good shield deflection rate, which is nice. And actually does have 3 weapon slots, which is kind of cool. And I think that middle one is a mine dispenser as well. So if you want to make money just playing the trading game, you're going to need a freighter, for example. There's also this Fang over here. Quite expensive. I gotta say, though, if you want to make some money, just do the mining thing. It's actually a really good way to start your to kickstart your economy. This has got 4 missile slots, missiles specifically. A lot of hit points. Again, no cargo capacity, but you know, it lends yourself if you want to play the game different ways. I've got some better power generators over here, better thrusters over here for a lot more maneuverability, but of course uses up more energy. Better generators, better claws, you know, with better range and force, for example. All kinds of little doohickeys that you can swap things around. What kind of weapons we got here? Long-range missiles. This is actually a rank 2 missile. Some of these, this is a rank 1 weapon. You see this is a rank 1 ballistic. This is a rank 2 missile. So, and a rank 3 ballistic. And different ships can hold different ones. All these ships here, even this Fang, can only use level 1 type weapons. So this Fang would not be able to equip this LRM, for example. Could equip this MLRS here, because this is a rank 1 missile. which is interesting, I think. And then what are these? These are mines. There we go. We could equip those on that cargo hauler, for example. So here we can go and sell some ore and food. I'll go ahead and sell the ore. But it's worth noting, especially if I go here, if I mouse over the food, you can see here the food has a default price of 30 bucks per. This place would offer me 39 per. So this place is actually offering a premium for food. So it definitely sounds like it's a smart place to sell it. You can also mouse over these and you might be able to find a deal here. So no, they'd overcharge the biomaterials. They'd actually undercharge the luxuries. The luxuries have a default price of 500. This would only be 442. So I could buy luxuries here and sell them somewhere else, maybe as much as 600 bucks per luxury item, for example. You can keep going through this list and see if you might be able to find any other deals. The Ceresonite ore is an example here. If you go to the decks, sometimes you can get trading information from some of these people. I don't think any of these have it. I think you've got to get a merchant to come in and visit, which can sometimes happen as you just sit here and wait. And they will give you a recommendation for a trade route. Basically, it'll be like, well, if you carry electronics from this system to this system, you'll make some money. So usually they'll offer one short route and one long route. So a long route might be something like from here to here, for example, with different goods. But you can also just keep track of these things. Depending on the type of station you have, this is a mining station, for example, and depending on the technology level, they will have somewhat different propensity for different prices. So this mining station should generally undercharge for ore. So you can see this ore is discounted here. The food, they're really charging a lot, and this ore was discounted as well. So that will affect their supply and demand a little bit. Also, what types of other items they might have to offer, for example, weapons and ship hulls and things like that. So I think we've made the point that this is a pretty big and pretty dynamic galaxy going on here, especially if you go into multiplayer mode, where you can have hundreds of other players playing on the same system. I don't know how it performs at the big numbers. I don't know what kind of server or bandwidth or anything you need. I think the fact that everyone will generally be in separate star systems will probably actually do pretty big, will really help with performance, a fair deal. But I haven't really tested it myself, but still. There is our feature look at VoidExpanse. It's a possibility we'll be doing more of these in the future as updates continue to be made for VoidExpanse. We'll remind you that this is not in any way a review. This is a paid video by the VoidExpanse people over at Atomic Torch Studios, and you can find all the relevant links to everything down below. See you next time, folks. Bye-bye.